lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff to talk about. Just decided to do a live because I haven't took boxing in a while. So, they got some upcoming stuff coming up in the month of December. You got the Valdez Norate rematch. You got Tyson Fury Usyk rematch. Then, you got the announcement of Tank versus Lamont Roach. Look like the fight's going to be in Brooklyn. And then got some Devin Haney news as well. All right, so start off with Devin Haney. Well, the people, like it or not, Devin Haney has a following. He has a fan base. And he can sell tickets. No matter where Devin Haney fights, hate it or love it, he's going to draw at least a minimum of 12,000 people. Now, I talked to Bill, last night. Me and Bill was going over some things. I can't officially announce what the announcement is going to be until Bill makes it official or until Devin makes it official. But in all likelihood, Devin Haney's next fight, his return to the ring, will all but likely be in the Bay Area. Where Devin Haney will be fighting in the Bay Area, or should I say, at least, Northern California, could be Sacramento, could be Stockton, could be San Francisco again, could be Oakland, could be San Jose. So, out of those 4 arenas, 4 to 5 arenas, Devin Haney will, in all likelihood, be fighting in one of those arenas. So Devin Haney's ring return will be in the Bay Area in all but likelihood. Now, who the opponent is going to be and what weight class Devin Haney is going to fight at, may stay at, may move up. May stay at 140. But Devin Haney, in all likelihood, will be returning to the ring between either January, maybe sometime in February, March, more than likely at the latest. Will not be a Ryan Garcia rematch in all likelihood. But we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. So just wanted to give you a heads up. I was supposed to talk to Bill in about maybe 20 minutes, when I get settled. And then we gonna see what's up. So I just wanted to give you guys an update. All right, so let's talk about Oscar Valdez and Norvate. That fight is in a couple of weeks. It's in Arizona, Phoenix to be exact. Thought it would be in Glendale, but it's actually at the Footprint Center, the home of the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns will be out of town. As a matter of fact, they have a game that day. So in all likelihood, there won't be no Phoenix Suns attending that game. Matter of fact, I think they're going to be playing in the East Coast somewhere. So in all likelihood, they won't be no Phoenix Suns. Of course, if you was thinking that you might run into Kevin Durant or Devin Booker, no, not going to happen. Not going to happen. But I'm very interested in that fight. In all likelihood, it looks like I'll probably be at that fight. And I think that's going to be a great fight. Who do I think is going to win? I'm not rooting for nobody. Not rooting for nobody. I just want to see a good fight, and I think it's going to be a great fight. The first fight was a great fight. So I just think they'll just do it again. I think it's going to be, a rough and tough, rock'em sock'em robot fight. And I think it'll be entertaining for the fans. So I'm looking forward to that fight. As far as Usyk and Tyson Fury goes, well, we'll just have to see. Tyson Fury suffered his first defeat at the hands of Usyk in a very competitive, close fight. Some people had it a draw. Some people thought that Tyson Fury did enough to win. And then some people thought that Usyk got on the laser. Usyk almost stopped Tyson Fury. That's what was so funny about it. You can make an argument he was close to stopping Tyson Fury, and you might just see the same. You might just see the same. Maybe Usyk in this fight, he gets the job done and he stops Tyson Fury. But we'll just have to see. But Usyk is hinting that he may move back down to cruiserweight, win, lose, or draw. But my thing is, why move back down the cruiserweight? That's like taking a step backwards, and it's like, okay, maybe it's like, okay, I went up to heavyweight. I became pretty much undisputed at heavyweight, so, you know, nothing more to accomplish. Maybe just ride out my days at cruiserweight. I'm gonna make a shitload of money, and that's just pretty much the bottom line. So maybe he thinking like that. Okay, so let me move on. So we are a week removed from Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, in which is just a lot of mixed opinions about that fight. A lot of people called it a spectacle. The sad part about it is that this fight went against Mike Tyson's actual record. Contractually, I think Mike Tyson should try to appeal, because that fight just didn't come across as an actual fight. It came across as what a lot of people are calling it. Oscar De La Hoya called it scripted. You know, Sylvester Stallone basically called Jake Paul an actor and said that basically Mike Tyson held back on Jake Paul. Now, I've seen some videos where people put together certain angles where Mike Tyson had a clear shot at Jake Paul to win the fight, and basically he pulled back on some of the punches. At the end of the day, I'm glad Mike Tyson didn't humiliate himself to a degree to where he got knocked out by a YouTuber. And I think to a certain degree, Jake Paul, he really didn't want to engage, because he said it himself. He was scared that Mike Tyson could land something to put his lights out. Now, what's so laughable about Jake Paul? Jake Paul is talking about he runs boxing. You don't run nothing. At the end of the day, you keep talking about the ratings that you drew via Netflix, but yeah, 60 million people tuned in to watch that fight, but probably 59,999 probably, you know, 59,900,999 probably came to watch Mike Tyson. And that's pretty much it. And I laugh at the fact that he's trying to take credit for that, when you can pull up Jake Paul's pay-per-view numbers. His pay-per-view numbers have been less than flattering. But you know, a lot of these dudes like the front. You know, the man is just straight capping with an extra large size hat. And he needs to stop it. He needs to stop it. Then he gets offered a real fight with Arthur Beterbiev, and now all of a sudden he's quiet. I only been in this sport 4 years, and I got undisputed champions calling me out. Why not just say yes or no? But you say you're a real boxer. Why are you trying to kind of like categorize yourself? Are you saying that you know you're not a real boxer? Is that what you're saying? That could only be the only thing you're trying to insinuate. You pretty much admitting and telling on yourself. But we know Jake Paul isn't stupid. We know what would happen to him if he got in the ring with Arthur Beterbiev. Arthur Beterbiev would tear Jake Paul from limb to limb. That's a fight that Jake Paul would either quit on the stool or he would get carried down in a stretcher. At the end of the day, Jake Paul knows what's going on. The last time he fought an actual fighter, which was basically a part-time fighter, he lost. So I think it's just the common denominator, and I think it's just common sense that anybody with common sense knows what's up with Jake Paul, and that's why they call him Fake Paul. Because he really isn't about taking a real chance. We know what's up with him. And I think to a certain degree, his fans know what's up. I'm gonna be bringing some people on to talk about that within the coming weeks, because a lot of people have asked me could they come on my platform and talk about that. You know, once again, you guys, it come down to just scheduling and all that kind of stuff. So I'm working on that. But a lot of people know what was up with that fight. You know, it was a money grab for Jake Paul. He got paid X amount of money. You know, he got paid, according to reports, around $40 billion. Mike Tyson took home around somewhere between 20 and 25 million. Now, I don't know how much he's going to have left after taxes and all that kind of stuff, but I'm pretty sure Mike Tyson's going to walk away with probably, at least after taxes, when it's all said and done, probably around, who knows, probably around 12, which is a big payday. Still a decent amount of money to bring home. Good for him. Now, on a side note, I have to say this, and this is just real talk. I have to say this about Claressa Shields. And you know, the thing is with Claressa Shields goes out here, she tries to start these beefs with men. She always want to argue with men, but then at the same time, she tries to play the gender card. Now, this thing that she got going on with Cameron is absurd. She tries to insinuate that Cameron is against black women and anti-black woman, and he's an Uncle Tom. But then she's sitting up here playing him up against, you know, True Life, a non-black. But she's trying to play the black card with Cameron, and that just shows the inconsistency of Claressa Shields. I don't know what be going on through Claressa Shields' head, but Claressa Shields, sometimes she shows her hypocrisy on a regular basis. This is the same Claressa Shields that's trying to imply that Cameron is an Uncle Tom or a Coon or Sambo, because he was just talking about the Raiders with Serrano and Katie Taylor, saying that Claressa Shields has some catching up to do. Now, Cameron was wrong, but Cameron is not a super follower of boxing like me. And we all know that the co-main event does not get credit for what the main event gets. That's how it works. Whoever fought on versus Conor McGregor, they don't get no credit because they're not the headliner. The headliner gets the credit, because technically that's what when you purchase a pay-per-view event, when you get your cable bill, they'll tell you exactly what you purchased. You're not purchasing the undercard, you're purchasing the main event. That's what you're getting charged for. So it was just a casual mistake by Cameron, but Claressa Shields took it and ran with it, creating a fake narrative and controversy. And I think the fact that she's calling Cameron an Uncle Tom, which I think is a coon, and it's unjustified to call him a coon. You can make an argument that's actually cooning is Claressa Shields. But you know, when you say this about Claressa Shields, she goes on defense mode, and then she wants to play the gender card. The thing is with Claressa Shields to me seems to have an issue with black men, and I don't know where this is coming from, when Claressa Shields' biggest supporters are black men. And in this particular genre, this is why people get annoyed with her sometimes. As talented as Claressa Shields is, I think sometimes her mouth is her Achilles heel. I think it's a complete turnoff, and I think it bothers people, because she always comes across as she got it in for black men. But at the end of the day, according to history, her father, who is a black man, we've seen her father, is the one that got her started by taking her to these boxing gyms. Most of her trainers throughout her career have been black men. So when you hear her just always sneak dissing, in particularly black men, you just like start scratching your head. Now keep in mind, this is the same Claressa Shields, and I'm gonna say this, I don't care, Claressa Shields listens to this, I don't care if she gets mad. I don't care if she says she'll never do an interview with me. I will be fine whether I interview Carissa Shields or not. I'm just keeping it a buck. She does this way too often, and it's just annoying to just hear her always saying this. You keep talking about that Cameron has an issue with black women, which I don't think he does, but you were the one that's always calling out black men, and particularly said you could beat Keith Thurman, and you can't. And I just think Carissa Shields clout chases a little too much. At the end of the day, Carissa Shields, you can build your brand up by not being a attack dog to black men. Because like I said, your biggest supporters are black men. So I don't know where this is coming from. And why do you constantly seek attention by like trying to tear down black men? What Cameron did was a simple mistake. I think a simple apology and could have moved on. But this stuff about saying, you know, trying to antagonize them, saying that you ran at a fight that jumped off, I guess at the ruckus or at a, you know, and you digged up some footage and stuff, when keep in mind, you supposed to run when you got, you know, when you got that type of chaos going on. Who would sit up there and stay and fight when you got, you know, a mini riot going on, and you got people coming at you from all directions? You don't know what their intentions are. That don't make no kind of sense. Of course you're supposed to retreat. And it's not like she would stay there and fight. Because if she did, she would be a damn fool if she stayed there and fight. That would make her not very smart. And you just have to keep it a buck. You just have to keep it a buck. So I just really don't understand where's this coming from with Carissa Shields, this vitriol that she has, in particularly towards black men. Now, I'm not trying to psychoanalyze, you know, because I'm not a doctor, but I'm just giving my own observation. I've been seeing this with Carissa Shields for years. Even when, you know, Steve Kim was saying that suspect racist stuff towards, you know, Carissa Shields, a lot of black men came in her defense like, hey, Steve, be cool, man. Watch it, dude. Watch it. And I'm going to say this again, from my knowledge, I remember the beef with True Life and Dipset. And from my knowledge, he didn't take Cameron's chain. He allegedly took Jim Jones' chain, and then there was supposed to be the incident with Prodigy. You know, rest in peace, Prodigy. So at the end of the day, she's accusing Cameron of being an Uncle Tom and a coon. Well, I could say the same sentiments directed towards her when you were sitting up there basically clout chasing again when all this Caitlin Clark was going on, and you basically tweeted saying that you would offer Caitlin Clark free boxing lessons. Why not offer Angel Reese or Asia Wilson free boxing lessons? Asia Wilson is the best basketball player on the planet. You know, real talk. As far as females go, why not offer her? Why not offer her free boxing lessons? Why offer the white woman? So I just had to say this about Carissa Shields. I just wish she would knock it off with this stuff. So, all right, let's move on. Let's move on. But I just had to say this about Carissa Shields. Carissa, come on. Stop it. Stop doing this stuff. Stop tearing down brothers. Because your biggest supporter is brothers. I don't see nobody making videos about you except black men, for the most part, giving you your praise. But at the same time, I just got to take you to task when you do stuff like this. Now, like I said, I'm not trying to lure you on my platform because, like I said, I don't need an interview with you. I'll be fine whether you interview with me or not. And you've seen how, and just on the closing, you've seen how Carissa Shields now, it's funny how she putting up footage of Cameron, what happened, I'm talking about, that was like over 20 years ago. But then basically you had a hissy fit. You had a hissy fit when that footage surfaced of you getting put on your ass and getting dropped. You had every excuse in the book. You were threatening to sue people. You were threatening to sue people. Come after channels that titled you get knocked out. I'm talking about the hypocrisy is just mind-boggling. But let me leave Carissa Shields alone. I just had to get that off my chest. At the end of the day, Carissa, I want you to be successful. I want you to have everything that you desire. You did earn it, but please stop with this war on black men. We got enough of that going on, and that's just real talk. All right, so now you have William Zepeda, who basically bowed out of a fight with Shakur Stevenson, a fight that everybody was looking forward to, and it just appears that Zepeda don't want the fight. All of a sudden, he has a hand injury. And you know, I remember watching this fight, and I was thinking to myself, when I looked at his performance, went back and looked at the overall fight and how basically Tevin Farmer kind of like exploited some flaws and basically showed some kinks in his armor. I was thinking to myself, and then he knocked him down. I was thinking to myself, Zepeda not gonna fight Shakur Stevenson in February. I already knew he was gonna find a way to get out of that fight. Now he's saying he got a hand injury. No matter what people think of Shakur Stevenson is a damn good fighter. When I say that Zepeda was food for Shakur Stevenson, when I say Shakur Stevenson was gonna humiliate William Zepeda, and it's kind of funny, you got Oscar basically said, hey, don't blame me, blame the fighters. He basically outed his own fighters. So basically, Oscar is insinuating, hey, I can't make these fights because the fighters don't want to make these fights. William Zepeda is food. When I say he's food for Shakur, when I say that's going to be a one-sided beatdown, when I say that Shakur Stevenson was going to beat the hell out of Zepeda, break him down and probably stop him within 7 or 8 rounds, or just beat the hell out of him and humiliate him for 12 rounds. Now, I want to get to what Shakur Stevenson said. You know, I know people call him Shakur Tweederson and all that kind of stuff. And he basically was implying, saying, hey, Mexican fighters usually have heart, but this particular Mexican fighter don't have no heart. And then, of course, you had some angry Mexicans saying that Shakur Stevenson was being racist and all that kind of stuff. Oh, so y'all want to play that game now. As I said before, I've been doing this for a while. See, they can dish it out, but they can't take it. Y'all said next to nothing. You were nowhere to be found when Ryan Garcia said what he said. Some of y'all tried to justify, talking about, well, you know, he could say what he wanted to say, and when it came to Teofimo Lopez, oh, you black guys are too sensitive and playing victim. Oh, who's playing victim now? And if I'm Shakur Stevenson, they got to break it down, because it's, like I told you before, it's okay for people to say whatever the hell they want to say about black people and black fighters. But as soon as you clap back, then all of a sudden everybody want to say, hey, we're all one, and you know, we're all brothers and sisters in the... Listen, I don't want to hear that. Stop it. Stop the cap. It's a complete fucking lie. It's a lie. So I don't want to hear that BS. You can save it. I'm going to say this again. There ain't no damn black and brown alliance. I'm going to say this again. I respect every group of people. As long as you're respectful to me, I'll be respectful to you. But if you try to diss me, I'm going to diss you back. And I'm going to diss you 3 times harder. I give credit when the credit is due. Okay? And that's just real talk. Don't play them games with me. You don't want to play them kind of games with me. I don't want to hear that stuff. I don't want to hear none of that stuff. Because when the disrespect and the vitriol was directed towards my people, every excuse got made. It got downplayed. Not only by non-black, people, but black people. But then again, black people been selling each other out for ages. Because a lot of these black dudes on here are gutless. Just gotta say it. Just gotta say it. And I know that people are mad at Shakur Stevenson for some stuff he didn't say, some stuff he didn't did, and I understand that. But I gotta back Shakur Stevenson up, and that's just real talk. Shakur Stevenson, I just gotta keep it 100. Shakur Stevenson has always given me interviews when I requested it. He's given, he's given my correspondent interviews. So at the end of the day, I just can't completely just say, screw Shakur Stevenson. I can't get down like that. Like I said, do I agree with some of the stuff that Shakur Stevenson has said and done? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But am I going to sit up here and cancel him and all that stuff? No, I'm not going to do that neither. Because I'm going to say this again, I operate on my own. I don't have no boss. I don't have nobody that I answer to. So I'm just keeping it a buck. And then Tank, I think Tank is a very talented fighter, but you looking at Tank, you looking at where Tank is at age 30. And I gotta say, at age 30, looking at where Floyd Mayweather was at age 30, where Roy Jones Jr. was at age 30, where Manny Pacquiao was at age 30, Muhammad Ali where he was at age 30, Larry Holmes at age 30, Sugar Ray Leonard age 30, Marvin Hagler age 30, Thomas Hearn. I'm sorry, Tank is just way behind. And you just got to keep it a buck. I'm 50 years old. I've been watching boxing, and I can remember boxing going back as far as like maybe 3 years old, watching boxing on NBC with my dad. Shout out to my dad, rest in peace, my dad. And I'm just saying this. And you got to just keep it 100. Where Tank is at age 30, you just got to keep it a buck. It's not very impressive. Tank doesn't have one pound-for-pound fighter on his resume at age 30, or somebody that you can even make an argument that's a top 15, maybe top 20, fighter as far as the rankings go. His resume is not very impressive, and you just have to say this. Now, I know the Tank apologist is going to say somebody is hating, and I'm going to say this is just real talk. That word hating is used far too much. Basically the potentness of that word is gone, because you got to just keep it a buck. It get to the point to where you're just tired of seeing this with Tank. You've been seeing this far too long. He doesn't have a very impressive resume at age 30. What is his monumental victory? What is his signature victory? I'm just saying. Say what you want to say about Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather was considered at age 30, between 30 and 33. He was considered, before he retired, Floyd Mayweather was considered pound for pound number one. Guys like Pernell Whitaker was considered pound for pound number one. Oscar De La Hoya at age 30 was considered arguably a pound for pound number one. But you look at that Tank, that's not there. Okay, he fought Barrios. He fought somebody that was bigger than him. But at the end of the day, he put stipulation after stipulation in the contract. Leo Santa Cruz was a good fighter, but he wasn't what you would call a elite fighter. He had already had a couple of losses. The fight out there for Tank to make that could have established himself was a fight with Gary Russell Jr. And for some reason, that fight never came to fruition. I'm just one of them dudes that just keep it a buck. And you just got to say this about Tank. Where he is at age 30 it's a lot of question marks. There's 2 fights out there that would establish Tank if he takes the fight and wins. Shakur Stevenson is a legitimate pound-for-pound fighter. Devin Haney is a legitimate pound-for-pound fighter. Okay, you got past Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia fought Devin Haney, and he cheated his way to a victory, in which, at the same time, the victory was taken away because it came across that he cheated. Okay? I'm just looking at where Tank is. Then, after that, you fought, your last fight was against Frank Martin. Frank Martin, just last year, Frank Martin was fighting in conference rooms. He was a ballroom fighter. He was fighting in ballrooms that at capacity maybe could hold 2,000 people. Now your next fight is against Lamont Roach Jr. And you put a rematch clause in there. I know you put a rematch clause in there to like sell the idea that this is you know what? I'm about to break this down. And any of you content creators, you can use this segment. That rematch clause that Tank allegedly is putting in the contract with Lamont Roach is just cap. It's just something to draw interest in the fight and get people to believe that this is a dangerous fight for Tank. So people can say, oh, Tank, even Tank knows that Lamont Roach is a danger. No, he isn't. No, he isn't. No, he isn't. Lamont Roach is an undercard fighter. Tank is not fighting a headliner. He's fighting an undercard fighter in Lamont Roach. But to get people interested in this fight and for his casuals to try to come with a talking point, well, see, this is a dangerous fight. It's so dangerous for Tank that Tank is putting a rematch clause. Nah. I see right through this. And see, this is why they don't like me. This is why the PBC don't like me. This is why they don't like for me to cover their fights. This is why they don't credential me for their fights. Because I'm basically putting out there what this is all about. It's a ploy, it's a cap, it's a selling point. This is for the Tank apologists to have like a talking point in a debate. Which I'm breaking this down and I'm basically blowing this up in smoke. I'm basically, you know what I'm saying? I'm imploding this, like how you do buildings when you get ready to, start construction on a new site, like what they did with the Tropicana. I'm imploding. So, can we please stop it? That's the only reason why they are putting that in there or putting that out there. To try to fool people like, oh, Tank is taking on a real challenge. Roach already has a loss. Now, Roach pulls this off and beats Tank, then okay, fine. But to be honest with you, I don't think that Tank's team believe that they're gonna lose and that Roach is a threat to them, or Roach jeopardizes Tank's undefeated record. And if Tank beats Lamont Roach, then we're back to square one. It's like, okay, so what? Once again, you were supposed to beat him. We want to see a challenge. And that's all we're asking of Tank, and Tank doesn't want to deliver that. He doesn't want to give that to people. So, just have to be said. So, there you have it. But anyway, appreciate you guys being here. It's your boy Tam. I'm out.